So just talk about the battery selection in my BMW helmet. So the BMW original battery, 3.6 volts, 1800 milliamp hours, and failed due to age, I presume. Also had a BMW connector on it, and it was no longer available. So basically the first battery failed just due to age. I then tried a video previously where I put in three 2500 milliamp hours, which gave me this massive milliamp hour 7500, which is, what's that, 4 times size of the original one. And what I found was it wouldn't charge. The power was actually getting to the battery box, but there must be something in the electrics. It doesn't like that big battery pack at the end of it. And when I pulled them out, they actually tested 0.9 each, so they should be 1.2 volts each, but they tested 0.9. So there's definitely something in the electronics, in the BMW electronics, that didn't like that big battery pack. And so basically I had an electronics failure. I then went to the, I bought I think it's a remote control car battery pack, 3.6 volts, 2200 milliamp hours, which is very close to the original 1800. I did have to wire it. It did have a servo connector on it, so I bought an extension cable and cut and soldered to the original harness, and that's worked. So it's easy to swap out in the future because I've now got a universal connector on my battery, so I can just change my battery if it fails again. So my great idea of having a massive battery in my helmet didn't actually work. And I've ended up with this one, 2200. It actually lasts me almost half a day, slightly longer, maybe 6 hours driving on the bike, and that's listening to music and having it on all the time, connected to the, I think it connects to the Garmin rather than your phone. But anyway, so this one worked. And I'll just run through the video now of everything associated with that. In a previous video I showed how you could fit rechargeable batteries to the BMW helmet. Unfortunately, the electronics don't seem to like the bigger power that the batteries have provided. It seems to switch off before it gets a decent charge in it. It comes with a fairly standard charger, but it has got some electronics in it for temperature, etc. So I'm just wondering if there's electronics buried elsewhere that doesn't like the bigger charger. So what I've done is I've bought a battery pack. It's closer to the original one, and I'm going to fit that. So what I'm going to do is take this out. I've soldered the wires there. I'll take them out, and then I'll fit the smaller battery pack, and I'll see how that does. It just doesn't seem to want to charge at all. And the power's getting through, so I've checked the power's getting through. So I'll go back to a smaller battery pack and see what happens. Right, BMW helmet take 2. So if you recall, I tried to put 3 large batteries in the helmet. These are 2500 milliamp hours, 1.2 volts. And this little yellow light on the side of the helmet, which means it's charging, would come on and then it would go off. And there must be something in the electrics that says there's something going on, so I'm switching myself off. Because this orange light would just go off, and then when I switched my helmet on, nothing would happen. So I thought I might have a wire broken or something, and apparently I don't have. So I took these out, and right enough they were down to 0.9 volts. So usually they say 1.2 volts. So that they weren't being charged, but I checked and the power was getting through to the unit okay. So what I did was I got one of these remote control batteries, and I've plugged it in. That's the temperature sensor on the outside, and this is about 2200 milliamp hours, which is less than one of these, surprisingly. So one of these is about 300 milliamp hours bigger than that thing, believe it or not. And now the orange light's staying on and it seems to be charging okay. It's getting a little bit warm, but you'd expect that. So it looks like there's something in the BMW helmet in the electrics that if the batteries are too big, it just switches itself off, and it must be an error mode or something it goes into. So I've had to take these 3 batteries out and reinstall a remote control battery, which is about 2200 milliamp hours. I think the original was 1800, and it's all connected up again. So that should solve my BMW helmet now. Bit disappointed in that, because I had my cunning plan was to have massive power so it lasted for ages, but it looks like that's not possible. So anyway, as I said, I've put a new battery pack on which is closer to the original. The light seems to be staying on, and we'll see how this does.